Congratulations, Coach. Etching your name in the history books forever around here, as you have been since you got here. So, with that said, we'll go ahead and get started with a statement from Coach Barnes.
One of the records I love the most is my fouling record. That was a hack. That's like I'm proud of that record. No, thank you. It's an honor, and it's all their hard work, not mine. This is a really good win for us. The reason why is because we're adjusting to life without Kate Reese, and we could get her back. We don't know how long, and it's a gritty win. I thought that Thursday we didn't play with passion. We didn't fight, and it was just a bad game. But like the effort, I felt that was uncharacteristic for our team. So to bounce back, have some tough practice because we were going to walk through yesterday. Yesterday was a real practice. Did a good job of moving the ball a lot better. 4 assists, 0 turnovers. That's an awesome stat for a point guard. And those are the statistics that you want. And then she'll make those layups. I thought Bendu played out of position. She fought. She gave us big plays, big rebounds, big stops, and played a solid game. And then I thought today that some of the matchups were hard for some of the other people, but Taylor was amazing. And Taylor came in for us, hit those big threes, stretched the defense. I mean, we get a little stagnant at times and have a tough time executing, and some of it's not that it's bad offense. It's that when you have a really solid defensive team in there, and you are tenacious and you're pressing, well, sometimes that's not going to be your best shooting lineup. That's the reality for most teams across the country, except for like 2 or 3. So what everybody does is they all sit in the paint because Shayna's very hard to guard. So sometimes with starting lineups, they sit in the paint. And so you can run any offense in the world, and if there's no one to screen, you're not going to go screen. And it's hard to get drives. So to loosen up that type of defense, you have to hit shots. And that's the reality. So when we're able to bring a Taylor in and still have a couple athletes, we can still press. Taylor was solid defensively, but then she stretches the defense, and then that leaves lanes for Shayna. But there are no lanes, and it's brutal. But it is an adjustment without Kate. Kate's someone that also attacks the basket, that attracts a lot of people. And when you don't have that, we're learning how to play. So it took us getting our butts kicked on Thursday, and I think we're learning, and we'll be better the next game. And we know we can do it now without her, or until she comes back.
Can you talk about Taylor's season overall, the way she's been able to persevere, not get the minutes and the opportunities?
So she's been awesome. I think with Taylor, she would have, and she was early. But then if you look at the season, Taylor's capable of doing what she did today every day. But in the beginning of the season, there was a concussion. There's been like 4 or 5 times she's been out. So it's not her fault. But I think it was then her hip. It was just like hard for her to get into a rhythm. And then I think during that time when she was out, let's say a week or 2, then what happens is you start winning games, and then maybe Maddie did really good. So I think there's different factors, and that's the way it is. But I think this game, she was solid defensively. She was incredible offensively. She was confident. So now as a coaching staff, like, you're confident and know she can do it. But Taylor's smart. She's a great teammate. I'm so happy she's here. I love coaching her. So she's going to give us a lot, and she's going to shine this from now on.
PJ?
You showed a little different defensive looks today. You showed a little bit of zone, and then you go one man-to-man, and then you'd be back and forth. How easy or hard is that for the players to be able to do that?
That's what we have to do. So, if we're going to sit in the half court and just run offense and think we're going to win games, that's not how we're going to win. It's just not who we are right now. We can evolve to that, and we have some time, but that's not who Arizona is today. So the way we're going to win is changing the defense, being aggressive, being able to play different defenses. We have to win, and that was a difference today. And sometimes that's hard, but we're focused, and we're able to do that. But we're not going to win if we don't do that. If we can't shut down people, if we can't manufacture points off our defense, we're not good enough in the half court right now to win games just playing in the quarter-court.
And then Javier and then Greg.
You came back, but you still had that first quarter.
Yeah.
What's going on, and what was the difference? And
I think the players feel a little bit of pressure right now. This was a must-win game, and I wasn't going to sugarcoat it. It was a game we needed to win. It was a game that was really important because we needed to bounce back from Thursday. We got killed. So I think it was a game that we've already had one game without Kate, so let's adjust. We know we didn't play the defense and give the effort we wanted to last game. So I think that in the beginning, sometimes they're just a little tight. I think tight in the sense of knowing we had to win today and our backs were against the wall. But I wasn't going to lie and say it wasn't important, because it was important for a lot of different reasons. And I knew psychologically it was important because we're going to the Pac-12 tournament. So we can't perform like we did on Thursday, not win today, and think we're going to go be successful in the Pac-12 tournament. That wasn't going to work. So I knew it was important for a lot of other reasons, like standings, all that stuff, tournament seating, all that. But that wasn't like what I was talking about. It was a must-win for us, more for momentum, getting better. And then we're going to play a must-win situation in a couple of days. So we better get used to it now, because this is going to be our world from now on. It's going to be that way in the Pac-12 tournament. It's going to be that way in the NCAA tournament. So we had to figure out a way to win, and I'm just so glad we did, because it was very important today.
Javier?
She started every game the last 5 years. She's kind of been like your right-hand person.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just talk about your relationship with her and, just how important she's going to
Yeah,
be?
Sam is so important. I'm sad. It's like a happy day, but it's a sad day. The good thing is we have like another month with her at least. It's been fun for me, like an aunt or like not a mom, but like a big sister, coaching her and watching her grow. She's so special in so many ways. I'm not even talking about basketball. Basketball, she's great. I'm talking about like who she is as a young woman, who she's evolved to be. She's selfless. She's a leader. And she's great in the classroom. She does the right things. I mean, I've never had to discipline her once. I've never had to tell her, "Oh, don't act like that," ever in 5 years. I've never had to tell her you don't work hard. I've never had to tell her you don't listen. That is never a conversation I've had with Sam, ever. And that's rare nowadays. If I could coach her for my whole career, I would. She's someone that could come back and be a good coach one day. She's someone you trust, and because of her consistency and who she is, her morals and values are good. She's a good teammate. That's why she's been my captain. She's been my captain the whole time. Yeah, well, 5 years. Wow. And you usually don't make people captains as freshmen. I remember she almost left as a freshman because she had never lost so much. We had won 6 games that year, and we had won 2 games in the Pac-12. So I remember she was crying and like miserable. But she's grown into the player she is today, the young woman she is today. So I'm just so happy for her and know she's going to be extremely successful, because, tons of people would hire her. She already had a job from Nike and turned it down to come here. So Sam just means so much to this program, and we would not be where we are today without Sam. And, like Sam, Ari, and honestly, Dominique, Lucia, those are players that helped build this platform. Trinity last year, Araya coming in, Amari. These players TT came and touched our program and made a difference. But Sam was just the consistent one. I've never had a player for 5 years. So just special. So it's sad. It's sad.
Greg and then Alec.
You had a lot of what looked to be a pretty lively in-game discussion with Salvo and Aaron. Was that reflective of the changing personnel?
Yeah, so because it was Aaron Scout, and then Salvo does the matchups, and giving defensive input. So, like for instance, a certain player sub in, we talk about, okay, now 2 shooters in, do we want to play zone or man? So just input about that, and it was important because honestly, if we wouldn't have went to the zone, we wouldn't have won the game, because we couldn't stop Marshall, and the zone saved us. And I am not a zone team. I'm not a zone coach. Like I don't. We might play a little bit more zone now because of our personnel. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do to win. So you kind of do what you do to win, but that's really not like my philosophy as coach, to sit in the zone. But I think we might have to sometimes, and that's okay. But also, even just to rest some people for a few minutes. I know you don't totally rest in the zone, just to give a different look. Then we go back and we're aggressive. But I prefer aggressive man-to-man defense, and that's who we are, and that's why we're the number 1 in Pac-12 in defensive field goal percentage.
I might have heard you wrong, but you were talking about Life Without Kate extending to the Pac-12 tournament and the NCAA tournament. Are you expecting her to miss the NCAA tournament?
No, I'm not. And I could expect her towards the end of the Pac-12 tournament, but I don't know if she's not healthy enough to play, she's not going to play. So it just depends on her. Like she could say I'm okay tomorrow and have good range of motion and play. But that's so early. She's actually doing extremely well. But do I, as a coach, want to risk it in the Pac-12 tournament? Maybe. It depends on how good she's doing, but she's progressing way faster than we thought. But I think for me, if it was a day and we're doing good. You know, let's say, you know, God forbid, we go to the finals or something, if that was a possibility. But then we have another week to rest her and get her stronger. I would probably wait till the Pac-12 tournament. Now, if she's progressing extremely well and feeling good, I would play her towards the end of the Pac-12 tournament. No. But we will get her back.
What did it mean to you to see Sam hit that basically decisive three at the end? And also, did you get kind of a sense of relief to be able to give them that moment and the substitutions at the end?
Yes, I wanted to do the substitution before, but it was still a game. I mean, it was a minute something, it was still a game, and I didn't want to put people in a tough situation. When, you know, USC advances the ball, we got to guard a sideline, and they have three-point shooters, that's tough. So it wasn't like it was a 15-point cushion. It's still a game with a minute and a half, you know, down whatever 6, or up 6. So I knew I wanted to put Samaj in the game. She deserves a standing ovation, and I did not want to do that. I did not want to take that away, and I wanted to do that. I had thought about the whole game. I had 4 people remind me of that because it's important, and she's been here for 4 years, and she's a great kid. So yes, Sam hitting that, it was like, okay, because if it's a tie game, I can't do it, and I didn't want that to happen. So thankfully she hit that. So thank you, Sam, once again. She saves the day.
Any more questions for Coach Barnes? Awesome, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks, you guys.
Sam capped off her regular season career, was starting every single game of her entire career. So I could go on and on, but don't want to waste everybody's time. So Kim, if you'd like to get us started.
Adia said you've been dealing with health issues off and on this year. What's this been like your hip and all that concussion?
I've been lucky to be able to work with Jaime, our strength and conditioning coordinator, as well as Jesse. They've done a great job helping me just get through the ebbs and flows of the season. And it's a long season, so, you know, there's just a lot of ups and downs, and just kind of just staying focused and trying to get through these things as they happen. And for the most part, things like a concussion or my hip issue, for the most part, just out of my control. So I just try to do as much preventative stuff for that.
Javier?
Sam, is starting every single game of your career at Arizona, is that like your best personal achievement, or what do you expect from the
I mean, coming in, I didn't expect as a freshman to, you know, start every game, play as many minutes as I have. So I think it's just an honor to play for this university and to have start every game. And luckily, you know, injuries still have a season, knock on wood. But I've been pretty safe so far. So just been blessed with my career that I've had here so far. And I can't wait to continue the few games that I have left.
Jay and then Greg?
So Taylor, you were feeling it today. What was it that you know? Why did you feel so good? What was it that was going on? I mean, you were 5 of 7, I think, and you just had it today.
Honestly, I felt like our guards were getting me wide open looks. Like there was, I think, 6 of the 7 I shot, I didn't feel anyone within 3 or 4 feet of me besides that one that I got fouled on. And I think that has a huge part of it, was that, you know, when you're left on an island wide open, all you see is the basket. You don't see anything else, and that's all you can focus on. And when you're that wide open, the confidence, and you hear the crowd kind of stand up a little bit. And when you see that first one go in and the second one, it's just you're shooting every open one after that. So.
Greg?
Do you have many memories about the game at Oregon where you scored 25?
I do, actually. Are you talking about the one, was it not last year but the year before? I do, yeah. That was a fun game. I remember how hard it is to score against U of A. That was one of the main things I remember from that game, was how difficult every basket was that I earned in that game. Good job.
Was the day really important to you?
Absolutely. I think that's something that's huge. You know, as a shooter, everyone tells you need to have a short-term memory, but after you see that first one go in, it's such a confidence booster. And it really sets the tone mentally after you shoot that first one. And, you know, now you have a rhythm going. That next one, I could let it fly if I have that space.
Javier?
Sam, when you saw her make those 2 3-pointers, and that was like a 13-1 run there at the end. How did that get you guys going? I mean, what were you thinking when you saw her making those?
Yeah, I mean, we know when Taylor comes in, she's coming in to shoot. We're looking for her to shoot. So just for her to be able to come in and do her job, it was really nice for the team. And then obviously to cut the deficit that we were in. I mean, Taylor came in and gave us great energy, and I think it just continued the rest of the game.
Kim?
For both of you, I mean, that slow first quarter, how'd you guys kind of turn it around?
I mean, for me, I was a little nervous there at first. Didn't want to lose on senior night. But just like before, I mean, Taylor came in, gave us great minutes. Maddie came in. All of our subs came in and just gave us energy off the bench. So I think that's what really helped. And then just locking down on defense, getting those steals.
Yeah, I would agree with Sam. I would say one of the main things that I noticed about our response to a deficit like that at the beginning compared to the last game was just our poise and our ability for like everyone on the team was reassuring one another when we were in our huddles. Like everyone just take turns making plays, and then eventually we're going to cut the deficit and get the lead. So I think that was one of the best parts about today was that no matter what the score was, our team was really rallying each other.
Javier?
And Sam, you're going back to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 tournament. What's that going to be like your last time there as Arizona player?
Yeah, I'm very excited to be back there, back home. My family will be able to see the games again, high school coaches. So just super happy to be back there. I'm sure, I don't know, I think I heard they're changing the Pac-12 tournament location, maybe. Oh, still in Vegas? Oh, well, then years to come, I will be going to the Pac-12 tournament supporting Arizona. So this will be my last time playing, but I will definitely be back there watching.
Any more questions for the student athletes, Greg?
Taylor, was there any point during the season where you thought the season was just lost for you?
Not at all, honestly. I've dealt with ups and downs like this, even in my first 2 years at Oregon. There was a period, I remember my freshman year at Oregon when I think I was like 0 for 12 over 3 or 4 games, and I was just in the biggest funk. But the best way to get out of a funk is to shoot your way out of a funk and keep going. And like I know I'm a capable player, and I know I'm going to be given an opportunity to show that, like today. So it's really just about sticking to it. Especially, it's such a long season, and that's something I've definitely learned in my 4 years playing. So you really just kind of got to put your head down and stick to it, and eventually it's going to work itself out.
PJ?
I guess for Sam, it could be for either of you guys. You know, Lauren had just a remarkable game, double-double, first one this year for her. What were you guys seeing from her, and what do you think made the difference for her today?
I think just confidence. I think the past couple games, she's been making the moves, she's been getting open, just finishing was kind of an issue. So I think yesterday in practice and even this morning, she came in and she was focused, and you could just tell. And then, I mean, having a great game against USC, who has, 6'6", 6'4" post players, I think that's pretty impressive. So I'm very happy for her.
Yeah, I would agree with Sam. I would say one of the main things I love about Lauren is like if you make a good play, Lauren's going to make sure to tell you you made a good play, or if you made a good defensive stop, she's always going to be one of the first ones to run at you in a huddle, one of the first people to acknowledge it and say something on the next play. She's really good at reassuring her teammates.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you very much, ladies.